Okay. So, drop this down and come back to it. So Dan Povinelli's own observables like weight, the idea of support, the idea of propulsion, even infants start picking up on things like that. There's a great video, I can never find it, it's not on YouTube, I haven't been able to find it anywhere, but you can take two objects, just like rolling them down the ramp. The one rolls down the ramp, it hits the other object, and the other object takes off. That's propulsion, okay? You can show videos like that to 9-month-old children. They can't speak yet, okay? They can barely sit there and kind of focus and watch these videos. Then you show them an animation, or you do it with magnets or something, and the ball comes down the ramp and it stops, like an inch or two short of the second ball. And then the second ball takes off anyways, without any contact. And then infants will stare at that. 6 months old won't catch on. 9 and 12 months, they'll look at that like it's a violation of expectancy. It's like they already know how objects in the world work. They have absolutely no concepts yet of gravity, propulsion, mechanics, anything like that, okay? But they know how things work just from recognizing patterns in the environment. And so things like that, like propulsion, kids catch on implicitly to, and then explicitly later you can teach them the concepts. Well, apes don't even get propulsion implicitly, or weight, or anything else. So one of the things I think we evolved that ties into our conscious is unobservable concepts, and I'll get back to that in a little bit. Okay. Recently, you may have heard that the Cambridge Declaration of Consciousness came out in Non-Human Animals. It's published by 3 or 4 guys that are working on the consciousness problem. And it says non-human animals are conscious, basically. And when you read it, it just reaffirms all the similarities, sleep-wake cycles, arousal, subcortical structures that we share, emotions, communication. Your dog is incredibly emotional. Your dog has incredible social cognition skills, way beyond a chimp. I may not have time to talk about that. But there's no mention in this declaration of any higher conscious abilities or any new findings. So are animals suddenly conscious because of fiat? I think not. Okay? Nothing new. Would they come to get us if they were? I love this. I'm not worried about the baboons or the chimps. Okay? They're not unevolved little humans. They're not going to someday evolve and come to get us. What I would worry about is the octopus. The octopi. The octopi have an incredible brain, and they have manipulative capabilities, which I'm going to try and explain to you evolutionarily. Well, that's what I'll do with my research the next 10, 20 years. It may take me that long. That it's manipulation of the environment is what built our concepts. Tool making and other things is how we got the concepts we got. And that the octopus, if you watch them manipulate things, look out. And they got great eyes. They have all the elements to develop. They're going to crawl out of the ocean and strangle us someday. They're screwing up their ocean. You watch. Don't worry about it. They're going to stay clowns. It's the octopi. No. The octopi I'd worry about. Okay. So now let's get to the starfish. We've been waiting all night for this, right? The starfish nervous system, they have some very simple nerves and a radial ring around here. They move by blowing water out of their little feet and sucking water back in. They have these radial arms. They can cut one off and they can regenerate it, okay? There's no brain. There's not even what's called a cephalic ganglion that some worms and other primitive animals have, where you have at least a bunch of neurons by the head end that help sense and move it around, okay? Starfish don't even have that, much less a primitive brain with, divisions and different functional lobes and things like that. So this is all I've got. I've read as much as I could find on echinoderm nervous systems, and I can't find anything that they even have pain receptors. So we're not even sure if these guys have sentience and can feel. So, pardon?
They can measure brain waves to figure out if they have pain receptors.
There's no brain.
All right.
There's no brain. And everything I've read doesn't say they've got the type of cells that we would look at as mammalian or other type of pain receptors or anything. So, does the starfish know or think to itself, shit, I just lost an arm, that's the 3rd one this month, right? Good thing I'm an echinoderm with regenerative properties, I'll just grow another one, right? That would be consciousness to me, right? So if somebody cue Dick. I don't think so. Okay, let's go to Harris's Cocker Spaniel. Even though Harris denied that science will ever figure it out, for some reason he said we should study the Cocker Spaniel. Why? Because Cocker Spaniel has a very evolved mammalian brain. This is a smart animal, incredible emotions and social cognition. mammalian full brain, functional structures. It's got emotions, communication. It can recognize conspecifics. It can recognize its kin, Fifi from down the street, etc., right? But dogs do not have mirror self-recognition. Don't recognize themselves in a mirror. Apes, chimps, orangutans, gorillas, dolphins, elephants, and humans do. But not dogs and not monkeys, okay? So your dog is aware, he's awake, he's communicative, he's incredibly emotional, but does he have any kind of, like, our level of consciousness going on? Does he have anything beyond this sentience, okay? Does he know he's Rusty, son of Rex, that he's got heartworms, he's going to the vet next Tuesday, which implies, future memories. Does he have anything like that? And is he distraught that he will likely die in 5 more years, like you are? Well, Renee, okay? I don't think so. So what's the empirical challenge here? Let's unpack the components of consciousness and see what modern neuroscience has to say. We're done with the philosophers about this supposed mystery and its well-defined mediated elements. List of conscious elements. When I talk to my 180 class, I usually stop at the first line. Aaron can vouch for this. That consciousness implies awareness of both external and internal stimuli. Okay? You're aware of your surroundings, you're aware of things happening to you, but you're also aware of your own emotions, your own physical state, okay? That your arm hurts, okay? That you're tired. You have a whole lot of internal stimuli going on at the same time as external, okay? Orientation, you know where you are in space and time, okay? You know it's Tuesday, and you know it's 3 in the afternoon, and you know that you're here in Murray, Kentucky. Actually, it's only Monday, but who cares, right? You have the stream of consciousness that early psychologists identified. You can't, unless you really do some heavy meditation, which has its benefits, okay? You can't shut off that stream of consciousness. You have a continual, when you're awake, when you wake up every morning, you wake back up to who you were when you went to sleep. You never wake up as somebody else, you never wake up 5 years earlier. You wake up continuing the narrative in your head, and you talk to yourself all day long. Some of us don't have a good filter, and we start talking out loud when we're, it's part of being a professor. It's okay, let it go. Okay? We have this stream of consciousness of thoughts, feelings, and images. It's continual. I have my 180 students actually do an exercise, take 5 minutes and write down everything you're thinking. And I go, give me 2 full pages of, oh God, 2 pages, jeez. And then when they turn the assignment in, they go, shit, I could have wrote 10 pages. Yeah, your thoughts just keep going and going and going and going, okay? So what else is in all that human stream of consciousness? Well, we have the self-concept. We have a concept of time, the other animals don't have. We have this narrative that you're the main actor in, that's the story of your life. You wake up going right back into it every morning, okay? You have episodic past and future memories, which are memories of you. You not only have past memories that, gee, the first time I went to the LBL, I was 6 years old, my dad took me fishing. Besides those memories, you have future memories, right? I'm going to graduate in December. I got to go to the doctor next week. I got 3 papers due, the week before finals, right? You got as much future memories almost as you do past memories. Animals have any of that? I don't think so. Deliberate practice, we're going to talk about in a later slide. Self-cued recall, you can help yourself remember something by thinking about other things that are related to it, and then you finally tag onto it. That's how you pass tests, right? Agency attribution, okay? You think things must be caused by somebody or something, okay? Little kids start doing that early, and people that never outgrow it become theologians and say, the God of the wind must have moved the clouds, or there must be an uncaused cause, and that must be God, because something must have caused everything. There has to be an agent that did this. We have causality, awareness, the spatial, temporal, I go on and on and on, okay? So, I'm going to try and attack some of that stuff. Each item on this list would not have evolved as a whole. And one of the things Sam Harris said was, consciousness has to make a complete leap. It goes from non-consciousness to consciousness. That was one of the other things I jumped on and said, no, every cognitive thing we do, you can't just say, well, we were dumb animals 2 million years ago, and then suddenly we blossomed into full human. No, it grew in pieces just like it does, and I'm a developmentalist, I study child development, I study conceptual and cognitive development, and it takes 2, 3, 5, 10 years, 15 years for a human animal through our long childhood and adolescence to develop all the cognitive pieces that you take for granted as an adult, okay? It comes on in little bits and pieces. One of the reasons I study, well, the only reason I study the second reason. Conceptual development is interesting in its own right, but my whole purpose of studying conceptual development, becoming a psychologist instead of an anthropologist, is to study that conceptual development and then take it back to apply it to evolution and say, where would each of these pieces have evolved? And we're going to get into a little bit of that. That's a whole nother lecture. We'll do a little bit. So I don't think consciousness would not have evolved as a complete whole, all right, in one piece, suddenly emerging miracle-like, any more than brain evolution accomplished the leap from just cephalic ganglion of the nematode to a full-blown convoluted collection of modules in the human brain or the mammalian brain. Okay, this didn't just pop out one day in evolution. This took 300 million years, 400 million years of vertebrate evolution since the fish. Okay? It didn't happen in a single near miraculous saltatory event. Probably Ron is the only guy who knows who this guy is. It's John Ray. Wasn't he a botanist or a naturalist from 1600s? And he said, natura non facit saltus just means nature doesn't make jumps. Okay.
I can't remember who the hell John Ray was.
The list, developmentally, is a newborn conscious. Okay?
He's a
Right?
naturalist.
They're awake. They can be aware. And they spend about 10 hours of REM sleep every night, where you sleep maybe 6, 7 hours a night, and you spend 20 minutes of a crack 5 times. Maybe you spend an hour and a half at most in REM sleep. These guys are in REM sleep 10 hours. But are they dreaming like you do? What's going on, right? Does that mean they have conscious, like self-narrative episodic dreaming? No. Kids don't even seem to recognize objects exist till about 7, 8 months. I can't go through all the cognitive stuff, it'll take us forever. But it's not until about 18 months that kids will recognize themselves in a mirror. You put a 14-month-old in front of a mirror and he looks and he sees another kid. He may look behind the mirror looking for where that kid is and he can't find him. You put a monkey in front of a mirror, it's hilarious. Because a monkey will attack the mirror, it's a conspecific, so he bares his fangs and he gets all aggressive. And then he'll go behind the mirror to go kill him. And no, where is he? Then he comes back out and there's the monkey again. It's hilarious. There's a great video if we get to it. There's an orangutan and somebody throws a pocket mirror into the thing. No, it's a baboon. And they throw it into the monkey enclosure, and things like just licking with it, playing with it, and he turns it and all of a sudden sees himself, scares the crap out of himself. So, little kids, it takes till 18 months just to recognize themselves in the mirror. What you do is you put a little mark on their forehead, okay? And you put them in front of the mirror, and after about 18 months, they'll look and then they'll go like this. They know it's on them, okay? That takes to about 18 months. By 2, 2.5, all kids can mirror self-recognize. Like I said, only a few of the great apes and elephants, maybe dolphins, we're not sure yet, but monkeys know, dogs know, etc. It takes another couple years before kids develop anything like a self-concept. They really don't have any autobiographical memories prior to age 2 or 3. Most of us can't remember something we did at 16 months. But we start having memories at around 3. And at around 3, a little kid can say, I'm Johnny, I'm this many, I'm a little boy, my mom is, and my dog's name is, right? That self-concept starts to build. So we're not born with all that. We're born with learning mechanisms to get all this stuff, but this is not all built in. It develops over time. Well, I think it would have evolved over time. And maybe I can convince you I've got some insight of how it would have evolved. Now, we're going to look at some of the current neuroscientists in the next 15 minutes or so. This is a guy named B.J. Bars. I just read this stuff in the last month or two, and I'm just going to walk through this real quick. Here's a psychologist studying what does consciousness do for us? What are elements of consciousness? Okay, again, the philosophers are saying in principle it isn't worth looking at. These guys are all looking at it. Okay? Conscious perception is not limited only to sensory processing. When you're unconscious, okay, or if we do something where we flash something that you can't see on the screen, like subliminal priming, we flash a word on the screen, okay? And you can't say, got it so quick I didn't see it, but then we can prime you with words and find out that you actually did process it.